Good evening and welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers. We're continuing our coverage tonight simply because of the impacts of the ice and the snow across the Mid-South. The hardest hit areas, as expected, were in northeastern Mississippi. We got sleet, mainly snow, really mainly sleet in the Memphis area. You go a little farther north, it was a mix of sleet and snow. But the areas that got hit hardest with the ice, the areas that are seeing the greatest impact with power outages, trees down, power lines down, seem to be around Alcorn County, Tippah, and Benton County. And with me right now is the Benton County EMA Director, Jimmy Gresham. Jimmy, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us tonight. Give me just a quick overview of what it looks like there right now.
Well, Benton County received almost no snow, all sleet. From the very beginning till it ended was just about, I'm going to say 99% of it was sleet. We've got probably an inch or more of sleet, packed sleet on the roads, on side roads and highways and driveways. Trees, we have trees down from South Benton, which is Hickory Flat, all the way up to North Benton, which is Ashland, east and west. The roads are dangerously slick. We have power outages in probably 98% of the county. We have water outages in approximately 50% of the county. So, and we have no internet service. That's the reason I'm on my phone, and I'm where we live. We don't have electricity, so I'm sitting out in my county pickup, talking with you and trying to charge the battery up on my phone, my iPhone, because I've been on it all day for different, trying to help people and give direction and everything. So this has been a tough time, and it continues to be a tough time for the next 2 or 3 days, where I understand it.
What an absolute mess. You know, I got a lot of family in the Hickory Flat area, even around Potts Camp, too. So
yes, sir.
Close eye on that. It looks like there was a little more freezing rain right there around southern Benton County. Does that seem to account more for the trees and the power lines that went down there?
Sir.
You know, we saw nearly 1.5 inches in Oxford. Any estimate on how much freezing rain there may have been around southern Benton County?
I believe it's probably about the same thing, about 1.5 inches. We got that here. I live in central Benton County. I live halfway between Hickory Flat and Ashland, and we have approximately 1 inch to 1.25 inches of sleet, packed sleet on our driveway, on our vehicles. So it is it's a different story altogether. When you got sleet, it's totally different from snow.
You know, we were looking at one point, I had a power outage map, and we're losing information from it simply because there's no power coming out of there. So the latest update we had was about 89% of Benton County was without power at one point. We were showing about 60% earlier for Alcorn County, and I talked to Evan Gibbon, who is the EMA director there, and he said, Ron, it's 100% power outage for Alcorn County. What's your estimation for power outages in Benton? Is it closer to that 80 or is it 100%?
98%. 98%.
Wow. How long do you think it's going to? How long do you think it's going to take
and the possibility won't be back up for a week.
Oh, that is just absolutely heartbreaking. What about water mains? Now that we've got this bitter cold setting in, Jimmy, we're going to see some water mains freezing. And, you know, we may not even find out about it. People may go and say, oh, well, I'm not getting any water. But you won't find out where those breaks are until we thaw out, which could be well into next week. What are your thoughts on that?
Correct. That's correct. And I'm going to say 50% of Benton County does not have water at this time.
Absolutely amazing. Now, is that municipal water, or are a lot of people in Benton County getting their water from wells still? Is it?
You do have a lot, but we have, I think the majority today is people on community water systems.
What about the clearing of roads? Do you guys have the equipment? You know, many communities don't even have a snow plow. We don't live in an area where we see something like this. We get an ice storm like this maybe once every 30 years. And it's interesting because at the beginning of winter, I was telling our weather team and our news department, I said, you know, it's been 32 years since we saw a big ice storm, and we get one in this area about every 30 years. And sure enough, right on time, Mother Nature does it to us again. So how do you see roads being cleared out? What plans do you have or equipment do you have to handle this?
The highway department is the only ones that has the snow plows, to my knowledge, the blades on the front of the vehicles, and I have not seen today, but I haven't been out there on the highway. I just noticed it from my house. I can see Highway 5, and I have not seen a snow plow going up and down it. But plus, people got to remember, when you got about an inch and a quarter, inch and a half of sleet, packed sleet on your highway, a snow plow doesn't do a lot of good, and like it would snow. So yeah. I don't even know if they even tried to plow or to get the sleet off the highway, because it's so packed that I don't think a snow plow would do any good. It might do more harm than it does good.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And even the clearing, they're probably going to confine that primarily to 72 and 22 to make sure those major thoroughfares are cleared
That's right.
out. So you look at Highway 2, 5, I think the 7 run through there as well. So
7 runs on the west side of the county.
Yeah, so those may go untouched the entire week. What are the needs of the people in Benton County right now? For people who are watching, listening, is there anything that people outside the county or in other parts of the community can do to help you all out?
At this time, as I have no suggestions. The main thing most people in Benton County need at this time is electricity back on and the water back on. We do have some warming centers in Ashland, and also in the northwest part of the county. And I don't know if anyone has, today is when the water, this morning about 2 o'clock is when the electricity went off, and 2 to 3 o'clock and this morning, and the water went off as the day has gone on. Most people lost water about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. So that's the two biggest things we need is water and electricity.
Let me ask you another question kind of along those lines. People that experience medical emergencies, you get a lot of people that may rely on the electricity for oxygen or what have you.
Yes, sir.
What advice do you have for them?
Be prepared before, make sure you got enough oxygen bottles to get you through at least 4 or 5 days. I know we had some situation already where people call for an ambulance, I think Friday night or early Saturday morning, and the ambulance was not able to go and get them because they're not geared up for ice on roads.
Yeah, there's not, especially a top-heavy vehicle like that, it's going to end up on the side of the road, off in a ditch. It's heartbreaking. A lot of people don't understand that, this is impacting the citizens, but also the first responders are dealing with the exact same thing, your police and sheriff's departments out there. So, if the citizens can't get out, it's reasonable to believe that the folks they rely on to come for help aren't able to do it as well. Are you seeing a lot of that going on right now?
That's exactly true. And your first responders, they have good intentions, want to help, but sometimes at times like this right here, when you got mostly ice on the roads, it's difficult for anybody to get around.
Well, it looks like this is going to be sticking around the entire week. And now, Jimmy, we're looking at an extreme cold warning for that area. Yep. You guys are going to fall into the single digits, near 10 degrees tonight. Wind chills are going to feel like they're below 0 by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. That doesn't affect the overall air temperature itself, but what it feels like for people who may be venturing out. But the main theme here is the fact that with these below 0 or below freezing temperatures, that ice on the road, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and the sunshine we get tomorrow may melt that top layer a little bit, but it's going to really create more of an ice skating ring effect for that area, making roads possibly even slipperier for tomorrow and tomorrow night than what we saw today.
That's right. Yes,
so
we had rain yesterday afternoon, late yesterday afternoon, and all we got out of it was icicles hanging off the roof of our houses.
Absolutely amazing. Well, look, I know it has been a very busy day for you, even leading up to this with preps. Were you guys able to prep the roads at all with any brine, salt, anything that may have helped?
Yeah,
may help with
the
melting
county
from
did
underneath?
on some of on the side roads and paved side roads, and on the secondary roads, and the highway department did the main roads. They did 5, 7, and 2, and 72 and I-22. The highway department took care of those, and the supervisors took care of the county roads, the ones that was paved, the side roads and main side roads. They put salt on them, so it's helped. But you some places you can't tell the salt was there.
Absolutely. And salt doesn't even really work on ice. It's great for snow, but it doesn't do a thing for ice. So that complicates it even more. And I got to tell you, the image right now that you're projecting, sitting there basically in the dark in your truck, you're the EMA director. You're the one people look to when times like this hit, and you're impacted as well. I think that tells a big story right there in and of itself. So
that's exactly true.
Thank you for taking
time. It's just a difficult time. We just have to make the best of it.
We'll get through it. We will get through it. Benton County is had its share of natural disasters over the year. Ice Storm 94 impacted you guys down there. You've had tornadoes come through, and they always build back, and they come back strong. But our hearts go out to you. We're thinking about everybody there. Take care of yourself. Any final words before we let you go?
Just pray for us. Pray for the folks of Benton County. Also, Temple County is bad shape. The surrounding counties around Benton are also in the same shape as we're in.
Power. That's going to be a big issue, power. And if you guys can't get around, that those linesmen, they're not going to be able to get to those power lines anytime soon. It's going to be a long week, Jimmy. We thank you.
So be in prayer for us.
We will absolutely do it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your night tonight. God bless you. God bless everybody down there. And we'll probably be checking back in with you as the week progresses to find out how things come along, see if there are any other needs you all may have, anything that we can do to help here at Action News 5. So, Jimmy Gresham, head of the Benton County EMA, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And again, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. And thank y'all for WMC being concerned about Benton County.
All right, buddy. You take care. All right. So that's it in a nutshell. So as a matter of fact, many counties, Benton, Tippah, Alcorn, Lafayette County, even Panola County. We had ice in Tate County, really all of northeastern Mississippi dealing with that ice. And the National Weather Service, I gotta hand it to them. Their ice storm warning map just was spot on. And as a matter of fact, you overlaid that with the power outage map, and that's where the heaviest ice hit. Now, we were fortunate to get sleet here in Memphis and across much of the Mid-South, and that includes Clarksdale. We spoke to Mayor Orlando Patton earlier today to talk to him about Clarksdale and Coahoma County, but Amani Williams has been out there in it. She got there yesterday, was reporting live throughout. She joins us tonight live. Amani, out in the cold again. What do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, I'm out in the cold once again, but I can say that the ride downtown was a little bit different than it was yesterday. We have been off of Highway 161 most of the day, and we stayed right there on that main way where, all the stores and restaurants and gas stations are. We stayed there most of the day. That is where the snow plows were. So we saw a lot of snow plows kind of trying to clear out all of that ice that has been packed onto the ground and freezing on the ground because it's so cold. But then we came downtown and it's totally different. The snow plows have not been downtown, and it was a very hard drive down here. Or I wasn't driving, my photographer Darren was driving, and he even said that it was a little trickier. You had to kind of maneuver a little bit more because it is packed down. All of that sleet that we heard last night is still down here downtown. It's kind of moved away off of Highway 161, but right here downtown in the middle of Clarksdale, it is still packed down, and you don't see as many people traveling up and down these roads, Ron.
Amani, I got to tell you, it's something else that you guys got primarily sleet down in that area. Wasn't that, it's kind of a mix. A little bit of snow was coming in there as well. What are roads like right now on that? Because it looked like there was some traffic and people able to get out, even behind you. I see a few folks out there right now. Is traffic or passable to some degree?
We want to get in.
So right now, yeah, some people did just get out. They just drove their four-wheeler up here downtown. Now, roads are kind of tricky downtown. Like I said, they are slick. Like I can just kind of slide back and forth on the roads. I saw a lot of people getting stuck off of Highway 161. A lot of people were having to get pulled out of the snow. Even earlier, there was a small fire. The fire truck got stuck in the snow. So you can tell by that there is a lot of snow, sleet. I would say more sleet and ice that has been packed down that's causing some troubles for drivers.
I got to ask you another question, because last night, as the storm was really kicking in, that second round was coming through, mainly sleet, but the juke joints were still going last night. What about tonight?
You know what? I hear some music behind me. I'm not sure if it's like something open behind me, but I do. Is this something open over here? They said something open over here. So, and I do hear some music. So they are still, listening and jamming to music regardless of how cold it is out here. I mean, these folks are ready. They have all of their camo on. They got boots on, overalls on, hoodies. They are ready. They are ready to go. Hey! They are waving. And so they are out and about still. Like I said, they just pulled up in their four-wheeler because it is a little tricky to drive around out here.
I tell you what, Clarksdale, Mississippi is the home of the Delta Blues, so nothing's going to stop that. Morgan Freeman's got a club down there, some of the best juke joints in the country and around the world for that matter, right there in Clarksdale in the heart of Coahoma County. Amani Williams, you have done an absolutely amazing job reporting for us down there. Thank you so much for the reports you've been bringing us. We'll talk to you tonight on Action News 5 at 10. I may touch base with you again a little later on this evening. I want to find out where those folks were going and what else is going on out there that would bring them out on a night like this. In the meantime, find someplace warm, safe, and take care, all right? We'll talk to you again soon. All right, Amani Williams reporting live from Clarksdale down in Coahoma County. Next, Memphis and Shelby County got hit hard but with sleet. The good news there for us, it wasn't a big power outage situation, simply because sleet, it hits things, it's just sleet, it's ice pellets, it hits those power lines, bounces off, most of it ends up on the ground, but a lot of it ended up on the ground. As a matter of fact, close to 3.5 inches of sleet for much of Memphis and Shelby County. So first responders have been out all day long. Joining me right now is Shelby County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Director Anthony Buckner. Anthony, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to join us. I know you guys are busy. Give us an assessment of what's going on in and around the county, which seems to have been hit pretty hard.
First of all, thank you, Ron, for giving us this opportunity to kind of share out what's happening out on the roadway. And thank you to WMC Action News 5 for keeping us informed about the changing conditions. But right now, deputies, of course, are spread out across the county, trying to survey roads and help motorists. We are responding to a lot of vehicles that are simply stuck in this snow and this sleet. And even some of our very own deputies have needed to be rescued from some of these icy conditions. So, we're reiterating things that have been said repeatedly over the last 24 hours, which is if you don't have to travel on the roadways, please, ma'am, please, sir, stay off the roadways. I guess we can bring this into perspective. Our deputies are trained to travel or drive in these conditions, and even we are experiencing issues. So for the untrained driver, we know that it's going to be even more challenging to try to navigate these roads. But we saw the road conditions deteriorate quite a bit over the past 24 hours, and now we're trying our best to try to keep as many people off the roadways. And for those who've been brave enough to get out and try to navigate these roads, help them get out of these stuck situations.
You know, Anthony, folks around here have been known I've lived here all my life, and folks around this area have been known for maybe not being the best drivers in the world. But look, we get something like this, snow maybe once a year, but an ice storm
Right.
like this is about once every maybe 20, 30 years. This one, tremendously impactful. There have been, as you mentioned, some folks sliding off and getting stuck. Have there been any reports of any significant accidents? I know we had one fatality up in Dyersburg, but I am optimistic around the rest of the area that I've not heard anything about that. Can you report anything on anybody who may have been seriously injured or multiple car pileups that we've dealt with?
Well, we have had some some accident with some injuries in North Shelby County. Nothing that has been life-threatening, but some pretty significant injuries. But most of our calls so far has just been simply vehicles with limited capabilities navigating these types of conditions. So we are proud to report that we haven't had any kind of fatalities as of yet. But here's the thing: tonight we know that the temperatures are going to drop. Roads are going to be maybe as dangerous or more dangerous than they are right now in the morning. So for those who do have to get out in the mornings, we're asking to please take it slow. Please take it as slow as possible. We are right now in a posture in terms of the sheriff's office trying to make sure that some of our essential personnel is able to make it to work. So we're doing some snow angel runs, picking up some of our essential personnel because again, we want to make sure that they arrive to work safely, and we're asking for all of our residents to be good partners with all of our first responders by staying off the roadway. That's the best help that we can have right now, is just reduce the amount of vehicles that's out on the roadways.
Anthony, your crews have been out and about all over Shelby County. Are there any areas in the county that seem to be hit a little worse, or maybe the ice accumulation was a little thicker? What kind of assessment do you all have on that?
Honestly, Ron, all of the roads are equally bad. I know the road department is doing as much as they possibly can to try to clear roadways. I was just on 385 and I saw at least one lane of traffic is somewhat passable. But again, you still have to use extreme caution. But all of the roads throughout Shelby County are equally bad, including the city of Lakeland and the town of Arlington. So if you're going to get out on the roadway, again, we're asking to just please take it slow. I saw some, I'm just going to say, frankly, some ridiculous driving when I was out just a couple of hours ago. So it's not worth getting out there and getting stuck or injuring someone else.
You know, and it seems to happen every time. There's always a knucklehead somewhere that goes out there and they think they're having fun, but what they don't realize, or maybe even they do, you're putting other people at risk, and then putting first responders who have to come in, Shelby County deputies who have to come in and clean it all up. You're putting their lives in danger as well.
Yeah, so what we have tried to do is posture our deputies or position them to be stationary strategically throughout the county. And so we would like for them to kind of remain in those postures until an emergency call comes out. So for us to have to leave these stationary, safe positions to respond to just ridiculous driving on the roadway, it's just unfair to our first responders who are out there leaving their families, leaving their homes to come out and make sure that they keep this community safe. So again, the best way to partner with us right now is stand off the roadways. And if you do have to be on the roadways, use common sense. There's an old saying that the life you save may be your very own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great advice. One final question, Anthony. I know you're busy, and I'll let you get back to work. But, I asked Chief Davis this yesterday when we were talking, and we have a number of unhoused people living in the city of Memphis, Shelby County. Are your deputies out maybe, and with the bitter cold, single-digit lows tonight, wind chills below zero, are your deputies out actively looking for anyone who may be unhoused and in those typical outdoor shelters they may have, and maybe try to get them to warming centers? Is there any effort to do that, or do people just have to reach out to you all for the help on that?
Well, once again, Ron, I got to say thanks to you and your team at WMC Action News 5 for just giving us advance notice of what was heading to this area a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And so it gave us an opportunity to sit down and we started having meetings to try to figure out what was the best thing we could do now and then into the future. So the sheriff's office keep track of about 85 to 90 seniors. So a week ago, we started doing a check on each one of those seniors to make sure that they had heaters and warm clothing, and we were able to locate about 2 of them that needed additional assistance. So we were able to get some heaters and things like that to them. And so throughout the last couple of days, we continue to do those checks to make sure that our seniors are well prepared for these conditions. But then also we do have some overpasses in the county where we've had some residents take shelter under those overpasses. Our deputies have been keeping a close eye on those individuals and trying to connect them with warming centers if we found any. So those warming centers have been a huge help to us to kind of have that information in our back pockets. But we also have been proactive before today and before the last couple of days, making sure that we were checking on our seniors.
Good news there. Good to hear. Now, I'm going to wrap it up here. I think you said it best with just stay off the road. But do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with people in regard to what they should be doing or how to deal with this? Because, look, this is going to last all week long. This ice isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But other than stay at home, which we would love to see everybody do, any other advice you want to add on to that?
Yeah, so one thing that I can tell you in the time that I spent traveling throughout the county, just seeing what the road conditions were like. Here's the thing. I saw front wheel vehicles that were having a difficult time navigating through the snow. I saw vehicles that primarily use rear power having a difficult time navigating during this weather. It seems that the four-wheel drive vehicles seem to be able to handle these kind of conditions a little bit better. So here's the thing. If you don't have a vehicle with that capabilities, try to find someone who maybe can help you in terms of commuting, taking you where you need to go. But again, the best advice, stay off the roadways. If you can do it virtually, do it virtually. But other than that, just please, sir, stay off the roadway.
Great advice there. Shelby County Sheriff's Officer, Chief Deputy Anthony Buckner. Hats off to you and all the men and women of the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for taking time to talk to us tonight. We appreciate it. It's going to be a long week, Anthony. So our hats off to you and all of the men and women for what you do. And again, thanks for taking time with us tonight. We appreciate it.
We're happy to serve. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. So that kind of gives you it in a nutshell. Of all the officials we've talked to over the last 24 hours, the common theme is stay home. Stay home. If you need a warming shelter, they are open in the city. Find a warming shelter. We've got a list on our website. Lydian Coombs is alongside me.
Pinned on our homepage.
It is pinned on the homepage. So if you've lost power and you need a warming facility, many warming facilities exist in some of our outlying counties or many of our outlying counties as well. So find the warming center near you, get there, ride this out, because one of the other critical aspects of this is the dangerously cold temperatures and potentially deadly cold. We're looking at lows tonight, 6 degrees. People who are unhoused can't live in that. Also, animals, pets. If you've got an outdoor pet, you've got to bring them in this. Wind chills are going to feel like they're below zero. I'm looking at anywhere from -5 to about -10 to -15 overnight, early morning tomorrow. That's what it's going to feel like. So this is not weather for man or beast. And it's also something we here in the Mid-South do not typically deal with. Maybe, once every 10 years or so, we get a big burst of cold like this, and then you add the ice, complicating the just mobility and driving on the streets and roads that just drives that up 10 times more. So I do encourage everybody, stay home. Make sure you take care of your pets, bring them inside, check on your elderly friends, neighbors, relatives, and let's just ride this out until we get it out. And by the way, I don't see this exiting our area anytime soon. I think we're still going to have icy roads well into the end of the week and the weekend, because we're going to see another shot of cold air coming in Friday, probably Thursday night, Friday. That's going to drop high temperatures back in the 20s once again and take overnight lows back into the lower range of the teens. And we'll start the week off with temperatures remaining below freezing. I don't even expect us to get above freezing until probably Thursday, and only briefly at that. You know, there have been businesses leading up to this who were trying to be proactive and get out ahead of it. Kelly Cook was at the Crosstown Concourse yesterday. The Global Cafe made a concerted effort to make some hot meals and get those to people in those warming facilities and in the shelters where people were. Kelly's over here in the newsroom. Can I bug you for a minute to come over and talk to me? And let's that's what warms the heart, Kelly, is just seeing people working to help other people.
Yep.
First of all, how was it out there?
Oh, well, out on the roads or at Global Cafe?
Out on the roads.
Yeah, so it's pretty clear that the roads were much worse today.
Yeah.
Because we were out and about all day on the first day on Saturday. It wasn't great. Today was distinctly different. First of all, I stepped out my door and the snow was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And then just trying to get in around was very difficult. And we saw just by the number of people on the sides of the roads, a lot of cars stuck, a lot of cars that were just abandoned. People just didn't know what to do, so they just left the car, turned the blinkers, and just sit in the middle of the road in the city of Memphis. So it is definitely worse out there.
By the way, leaving your car with the blinkers on, great thing to do for a minute, but that battery's going to die at some point, and then you're going to come back to not only your car is stuck, but the battery's dead too.
Right.
So that's another issue in and of itself. But let's talk more specifically about what was going on at Global Cafe, because it really looked like they were doing God's work over there.
They really were. They were just like, we're just packing them up. They did 250 meals for the hospitality hub. And you know, I know you've gone to the Global Cafe. You know their story behind what the restaurant does. And so everyone there, as they put it, have kind of been in that situation where they needed somebody to step up and help them. So they make it a point every year that they do this. They go and make meals for them. And it was good meals too, Ron. It was like beans and rice and chicken. And I was like...
That is, and let me tell you something.
Yeah.
They've got great food
They've
over
got
there.
great
It is
food.
Delicious. And that was one of the things we were needing around here at Action News 5 was a hot meal. I think we finally got one today after a couple of days. But, you know, to see them making that, you were right there. And they had it was even tough to get in yesterday. And the people were still, they came out to help and prep this.
Yeah. The workers do it as well. The Global Cafe is open, and so they had customers coming in. But in between taking orders for their customers, they were packing up these meals. So about 5 o'clock, they took it to Hospitality Hub. Oh, and before that morning, they were at room at the inn. So they provided breakfast and food for that family. And for those who don't know that nonprofit, it's great what they do over there. It also works with the unhoused community. It's also like a temporary spot for families trying to get back on my feet. They can go stay there, or if you're coming out of the hospital and you need extra care before going back on the streets. I believe in the hospital, not so great. So they do so many wonderful things. So they went there that morning and did that, and that evening they took it to Hospitality Hub, which was very busy. And I heard you talking to Buckner about that.
Yeah.
I distinctly saw people being dropped off, like they were going to pick up people and bring them to somewhere warm. Ron, you cannot be out there. You cannot be out there. I was out there waiting for a live shot for 15 minutes, and I could feel my fingers, like, with gloves on. So it's not safe. You have to get somewhere warm.
Yeah, that's all it takes, and you get that wind, and especially on your exposed skin. And many of them don't have the hats, the coats, the gloves, the layers of
blankets
clothing
over.
you need.
That's
not anything. So you had to, and I know you were at the Ed Rice Community Center at one point today. That is, in my opinion, that is probably one of the most well-run, most active community centers in our city.
They really use that community center. I'm not saying
They
they don't
do.
use all of them. They do. But in Fraser, Ed Rice gets a lot of attention, and even on then, people were there. It wasn't super busy. They had a family who were staying. If you want to use the warming centers, it's open 24 hours. That's Ed Rice Community Center, Hickory Hill Community Center, as well as Orange Mound. Those are the three that's open 24 hours. So you can go there anytime, but there's no cots or beds. So it's more of a thing of, I need to plug up. I need to go in there just to kind of get out of the cold or need some place to warm up. And if you live in the neighborhood, probably get them kids out your house.
That is a good idea.
You need to go play in the gym or do something. You're driving mama crazy. So you can kind of go in there and use it as you see fit at any of those community centers. So that's a great resource. Please use it if you need it. It is there for you.
You traveled around the city and saw a lot over the last 24 hours. What touched you the most?
So today I went out with the Mid-South. They're now known as MSJ Off-Road. Some of us may know them as the Mid-South Jeepers, the Jeep Club. That's kind of how that's what they go by now, MSJ. And so I called them up and I was like, hey, can I just kind of tag along? And there was a hospital worker who needed to get to Regional 1, and they were going to go pick him up. But every time we tried to get there, they stopped because somebody was on the side of the road. And there was no questions asked. They stopped. You needed help. And so we're going to help you out.
Wow.
I think there's sometimes this is no fun. Nobody likes the cold weather. But it's just something about, I see you're in need. I'm not even going to ask any questions. I'm going to stop. We're going to get out this car, and we're going to get you going and make sure you get there safe. And if you don't get there, you make sure you call us, and we're going to show up again. And they do this for every cold weather because they've got those off-road vehicles. So I guess it's just seeing the spirit of this city that we see year-round. But being able to see... We do.
People forget that. I mean, this is one of the most generous communities, I think, in the country. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, why do you do it? He was like, I don't know. I just feel like people need to get around. So I don't know them. They don't know me. I just know you have a need. And so I'm going to go out there and do it. And so, and they always look surprised when they just kind of pull over. They had two big off-road, and they're just kind of like, are you here to help me? Is it you for me?
That is
I am
great.
here for you. Let's get you going.
That is
You
great.
hop out the car and make it happen.
Now, you're working on a story tonight for Action News 5 at 10. You want to give us a little insight on what you're doing?
So I just got back in, and so I'm looking at the Tennessee Emergency Management. Take a look. Any guess about which county in Tennessee is seeing the most power outages?
I would think Hardeman County. I think they got hit pretty hard. We tried to get in touch with Hardeman County EMA, even the mayor over there, and they're like, we don't have time. What did you find?
I wanted the data. So we're probably because of pure numbers of Davidson County is number one. Davidson County kind of got hit.
They did. We mentioned last night that Middle Tennessee was in store for. I thought conditions were going to be worse there than they were here.
Yeah. And so I checked MLGW because I just kind of keep checking. It's like 40 outages. We have. I don't know. Where's the wood?
Yeah, no, my head that will probably suffice.
They've been doing fantastic. We have not been dealing with the outages. But then again, we didn't get the freezing rain like you were warning us about in all those meetings, getting ready for this coverage about what we need to look for to see what might happen. And so, as a reporter, I was looking for is freezing rain going to hit? Because that's going to change about what I needed to report on, and we didn't get that. Not in large amounts.
No,
right?
not. And I got to tell you, there was a moment we were pretty confident all week that Memphis and Shelby County, and really areas north of the Mississippi-Tennessee state line, would see primarily sleet, lots of it. And that's the way it turned out for us. There was one moment last night, is right around 11 o'clock, we were getting a little mix of sleet and freezing rain, but it all transitioned over to sleet. And look, sleet is bad, but freezing rain is worse.
Right.
So those areas that got the freezing rain, and from just the look of, and we were judging it based on power outages simply because we still haven't got any ground truth reports there from Hardeman and McNairy counties, that, you know, the highest percentage of power outages were right there in Hardeman County. So that's something else that
Davidson County is sheer numbers, like just sheer numbers of people who went out, and like Hardeman just doesn't have as many.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really kind of dodged a bullet in terms of just power outages. Now our friends in Mississippi.
Oh, totally different story. It's going to take weeks, maybe even months to get back to normal in that area. For those of you who watch in Davidson County, by the way, that's Nashville. That's Middle Tennessee.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, it hurts to hear that area was hard hit. But here in the Action News 5 coverage area, really from Corinth down to Oxford, they bore the brunt of this activity and the freezing rain.
Right.
So there was one point last night, Kelly, Eric and I were here till, we spent the night here. So we were watching right around, I guess it was close to midnight, flashes of blue in the sky. Eric originally thought that was lightning. He said, we've got lightning, freezing rain. I said, nope, those are transformers blowing up with the freezing rain. So you see those flashes of blue in the sky, and then gradually Oxford got dark, and then the camera was gone.
Oh, that's good.
So, it really is. Brought back memories of 94. But again, we were pretty confident that Memphis and Shelby County would get the sleet. That's the way it worked out. But that's also going to make a nightmare for travel in the coming days. That's our next big issue.
But here's the bright, line in all of this. I was listening to the press conference with Tennessee Emergency Management. No weather-related deaths reported in the state of Tennessee.
Now, we did get one report of the Dyersburg.
Just got that confirmed because I was like, wait a minute, Tina.
Yeah.
We did confirm whether we just talked it out with our crew here. Thank you so much for our assignment desk editor who went back and looked at it in our web team. They initially called and said a weather-related death, but it wasn't because of weather. It was a crash. The crash in the weather caused the man to crash, and
okay, so it was
different.
Added to that,
Yeah,
but it was a traffic accident.
It was a traffic accident
Okay.
but they don't believe it was necessary. That's why the state is not counting it by the Tennessee Department of Health as a weather-related, like just outside in the cold or something happening. So all things considered, that's certainly good. After all that's going on with all of these power outages, with these terrible roads out there, that we have had no loss of life in the state of Tennessee.
Well,
That's
Kelly,
good.
You have done an absolutely amazing job.
You've done an
out
absolutely
there.
amazing job.
Well, we've all put in very long hours. Lydian, our assignments desk, Michaela, Joy, our
Yeah.
producers, everybody has really
This was a
just
tough
given it all.
forecast.
It really was. It was tough. I'm glad it worked out at least for the Memphis Metro. There, like I said, there was a moment there we were biting our knuckles thinking, oh, the freezing rain's coming into the Memphis Metro, but it all transitioned to sleet. But that area that we all week long thought would be hit the hardest, Corinth to Oxford, that was a bullseye for the freezing rain.
That was very consistent. And I could just say this because, again, we had weather meetings.
It seemed like they were never ending.
They were never ending. But that was the one consistent that from very early on, you guys are pretty sure Oxford, Corinth, that's going to be the areas that we're going to see the most trouble. We're still kind of watching that North Mississippi and going into the Memphis and Shelby County area, but you have been very consistent like that for sure. It's just going to be a problem area. And unfortunately, looking at Garner Montgomery's coverage, he's been doing a fantastic job.
He really has.
But looking at his coverage, it was like, wow. I'm old enough. I remember 94 too.
Yeah.
And it looked real familiar.
Yeah, really did.
Looked real
There was a
familiar.
tree we were watching in front of the courthouse, and each 30 minutes, the limbs on the tree, as ice built up, would bend a little more. And I told Eric, I said, by sunrise, that tree's going to be split in the middle. Sure enough, it did, but our camera went down prior to that. And we weren't able to witness it on the camera, but somebody did shoot us a picture from it showing right there the tree in front of the courthouse.
Ice
gone.
is nothing to play with. It is, yeah.
Yeah, and a 30-foot wide tree with an half an inch of ice on it adds an additional 7,000 pounds. 7,000 pounds to a tree. Now they got an inch of ice down there. Some areas got as much as an inch and a half. But
It's crazy.
that's 14,000 pounds of ice on a tree. It can't sustain that.
No, absolutely not. And you don't know when it's going to fall. That puts a lot of people in danger, a lot of students, a lot of folks who live in that area. So I'm just hoping they're getting somewhere and they are being safe. And I really wish we could get some temperatures to kind of thaw us out a little bit. Not happening?
No,
Chief?
I don't think it's going to
Okay.
happen at all. I think we're going to stay below freezing for most of the week.
Oh, okay,
we
great.
may get just above it, and parts of North Mississippi could see mid 30s for a day, maybe two, but overnight lows are going to be in the teens. So we'll get some sunshine. That will help with a little melting on that top layer.
Okay.
But Kelly, it's almost like running a Zamboni over an ice skating rink. It just smooths out the ice. So we are
Oh.
still going to have you'll get that brief melting, smooths out a little bit during the day, and then a hard freeze at night. That's going to keep it around. I think we're going to have stories all week long related to ice, travel, and the potential for, just traffic buildup and accidents. That's why it's so important for people to stay home.
And staying at home, but I'm a little worried, Ron, because tomorrow's Monday.
Yeah.
So when the storm came in, being on the weekend, I don't know if that changed how much people were getting on the roads, or they were just heeding the warnings. Because I did feel like people listened and didn't get out. They stayed at home.
Yeah.
Being out and about, I've done a lot of this coverage before, and you would always see it, and it would look really busy. So I'm starting to wonder, Monday with the new work week, are more people going to try to get on the roads? I'm telling you, if you have not been out your house since Friday,
You're in for a shock.
you're in for a shock. And so I don't know if you can get on the phone, and for those who are, have to get out, I know you can't help it, like the healthcare worker that we went to go pick up with the Jeep Club, but yeah, I just wonder about tomorrow.
Was there any area that was seemingly worse in your travels yesterday, today?
So it was interesting. So the first time we came, we went down Poplar, which wasn't great, surprisingly. So we decided to get on the interstate and do Sam Cooper. So we went interstate like 40 or whatever, and we got off on the Sam Cooper exit, and I don't know, it was not an easy travel. It was very difficult. Once we got further, I guess, west to get toward the city, getting closer to East Parkway, it cleared up quite a bit. We got a little bit clearer, and it wasn't as patchy. So that wasn't so bad. But I'm telling you, Ron, it really is everywhere. Obviously, the more heavily traveled streets are a little bit easier. Union was a little bit easier.
That's relatively speaking right there.
But like, for instance, I was in the medical district at 5 o'clock, and they've got it pretty clear in front of Regional 1. But Dunlap, I saw big trucks, pickup trucks going, and backing it up and going to find a new route. So I would say, I guess, the major roads, as good as it's passable. I don't love it, but those side roads, I'm telling you, there were we turned on Hollywood, and I turned to my photographer, Sydney, and I was like, where are you turning? You're going to... I said, is this Hollywood? It was completely white. I couldn't even see the street.
Oh, wow.
So be careful about being out and about,
All
because
right.
it's going to be rough.
Kelly Cook, you have done an amazing job all week long.
Thank you
for
so
the
much, sir. Thank you for
beautiful
keeping
reporting.
us safe.
All right, we'll see you
Get back
tonight
to
on
work.
Action News 5 at 10. Kelly Cook, ladies and gentlemen. She has been out and about and in it. And that's what we send our reporters out. And look, safety is our number one concern as well. We've had a lot of people wondering, well, you're telling everybody to stay home, but you're sending people out. We're sending people out so you know what to do, but we're sending them out, and we're only using the vehicles with four-wheel drive, and making sure that the people that are in Clarksdale, Garner down in Oxford, they got there ahead of this. And they were told going in, you're probably going to be there for a few days, so pack. Be ready for it, and be prepared for anything and everything. Our crews in and around the city have ventured out from Midtown, mainly sticking to those main thoroughfares, but in vehicles that can traverse through this. So that is, again, a safety first issue here at Action News 5. So much going on. I tell you what, I want to, give me just a second, because as I mentioned, the cold weather, that's really the big issue. And I want to give you the first alert forecast. Many of you may have been watching the game that was played today. I'm not even sure who won. I'm a big football fan, and I don't even know who won today. But Lydian, let's bring. Was it the Patriots? Patriots won. They beat the Broncos. So the Patriots going to the Super Bowl. Wow. Okay. And there's another game now, right? Is that still going on? Is the other game still going on? Was that the? Seattle is beating the Rams 17-13. Cowboys aren't there, so I don't care. Hey, let me give you. I heard. We've been waiting since Ice Storm 94 for another Super Bowl. Yeah, it's not coming, is it? All right, let's talk about the weather. Let me give you a shot from our High Five camera. This is in East Memphis, atop the Clark Tower. Now, look, it could get a little foggy tonight as well, and I can't rule out a few flurries, but skies are starting to clear out nicely. There is one car going east on or west on Poplar Avenue right now, and it looks like there's about one traversable lane going each way. That's been the case throughout the day today, and that's also the case on Union, and I think you're going to find that to be true for most of the major thoroughfares. Then you get off on the side streets. Kelly was talking about turning onto Hollywood, just a solid sheet of just ice, untraversed. I think you're going to find that in many neighborhoods. And as people are trying to head out, maybe getting to work tomorrow, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Patrick Ellis is going to be in. He's going to have traffic for you bright and early in the morning, along with the forecast. So I think that's the thing everybody's going to be waking up to. Lydian, schools are out, right? A lot of schools are out. We do have those on our website. You go to actionnews5.com. You will find a listing of school outages. If you need assistance, you will find warming shelters, a whole host of information. Just updated the forecast on there as well. You can click on the weather tab and check that out and give you an idea of what's coming our way this week. And as I was telling Kelly, I don't think this ice is going anywhere. Let me go back to the forecast. Let's show you what's going on because, yeah, we're dealing with this right now. Here's a few snow totals. Dyersburg got 10 inches of snow. It was mainly snow. There was about an inch, maybe 2 inches of sleet on top of it last night, but 10 inches overall. And Lydian, we were doing the web chat. Do you remember Friday night we were talking about, I said we were showing about 4 to 8 inches. And, you know, that's a big span for us because we'll typically go maybe 6 to 8 or 2 to 4, something like that, 4 to 6. But we were going with that 4 to 8 simply because we were still uncertain as to what type of precipitation was going to fall. So the type of precipitation drastically changes the accumulation amounts. If it was all sleet, it was going to be less. If it was all snow, it was going to be a lot more. But it turned out to be primarily snow with a layer of sleet on top of it. But Dyersburg, 10 inches. Hornersville, up in the Missouri Boot Heel, got an 8 inches. Halls, Tennessee, right there around Crockett County, they got 6.5 inches. Helena, down in Phillips County, 6.5 inches. Germantown, 4.5 inches. Predominantly sleet, but in and around, again, the Memphis Metro, Shelby County, it was somewhat of a mix of sleet and snow. Initially beginning as snow Friday night and then changing over to sleet, and last night was all sleet. So the majority of that, again, sleet. But Oxford, it was all ice. Right now, initial reports of 1 inch, some areas reporting as much as 1.5 inches. And that is just devastating to trees and power lines in that area. And we've even had reports of roofs collapsing. JR Steakhouse in Fayette County, I do believe. Oakland, the roof caved in there. We had another report of a roof caving in. Where was that? That was outside.
Coahoma County, I forget where.
Coahoma County, yeah. So a roof collapsed there. It just couldn't hold up to the weight of the ice. And as I mentioned, look, a 30-foot wide tree with 1/2 inch of ice adds 7,000 pounds. Imagine that. And if you got a house with more than a couple of layers of roofing on it, and then you add all that ice on top of it, that's a heck of a lot of weight for that structure to uphold. So that's what we're looking at, some of the initial reports. But look, it is still a first alert weather day through Tuesday. Yeah, through Tuesday, not because of any more additional precipitation, but because of extreme cold. An extreme cold warning is in effect from now until noon Tuesday for the entire Action News 5 coverage area. So all of West Tennessee. And look, this extends into Middle Tennessee. This extends all the way back for the entire state of Arkansas, north to Kentucky, up into Missouri, and down into northern Mississippi, all the way into central Mississippi. Extreme cold warnings. Right now in Memphis, here we are, and this is 7:33. We're at 18 degrees. We've still got some clouds. That cold air out there, you may find a few flurries too if you venture outside to check out the door or what have you. You may see a few flurries. That's because that cold air has a tremendous ability to extract moisture from the atmosphere. So those clouds, they contain that moisture. That cold comes in very dry and it just squeezes it out in the form of flurries. We got a north wind at 10 miles per hour. That 18 feels like 6 right now, 6 degrees. We hit a high today of 23 degrees. Temperatures, these are actual air temperatures. It is 18 in Memphis, 12 in Blytheville. That's the coldest in the area. Notice no temperature data coming in for Corinth or for Oxford. That's because of power outages. The reporting stations there don't work. And that is going to create a big problem, but you can pretty much guarantee those temperatures there are near the mid to upper range of the teens. Fortunately, in that area, winds are light to calm. But if those winds pick up, that could add to increasing damage from trees coming down and add to more power lines coming down. Imagine you get these ice-weighted trees and you start shaking them. Well, with the wind coming through, then you're going to see some branches break. Now, the wind also impacts what it feels like out there. And right now, just about everybody, with the exception of northwest Mississippi, it feels like it's in the single digits. Feels like it's 2 in Dyersburg and Blytheville. Feels like it's 6 in Memphis, 4 in Holly Springs and Bartlett or Bolivar. No matter where you go in the Mid-South, it feels like the bitter cold. So let's look at the feels like futurecast, because as we get in the early morning hours tomorrow, I don't know why that thing just ran all the way through like that. I tell you what, I'm going to back it up. I want to do this and just walk through it, all right? So I think we can still see it here. Let me do this, and I'm going to bring this back. So we got a little bit of cloud cover still out there. It's mostly cloudy, but by midnight, temperatures are going to start to fall to or wind chills. What it will feel like is going to be anywhere from about 0 to 4. For West Tennessee, northeastern Arkansas, but it's going to feel like it's below 0 in Holly Springs and Ripley, -2 in Holly Springs, -1 in Ripley. And you see the little area of white and blue right there on Shelby, DeSoto County? There could be some flurries. Again, that colder air extracting the remnants of moisture. But as we get to around, and I went too fast. I want to start this off at about 6 in the morning. Look at this. By 6 a.m. Monday morning, clear sky, but it's going to feel like it's -5 in Memphis. It's going to feel like it's -10 in Dyersburg, Covington, Harrisburg. It is essential that you bundle up tomorrow if you do head out and have to be at work. You are going to need hats, coats, gloves, multiple layers of clothing, and a big, huge, heavy coat, because bitter, bitter cold is coming to play. Now let's advance this to about midday, and we're looking at wind chills by noon, still in the single digits. It's going to feel like it's 0 in Covington, Brownsville, Somerville, Selmer. It'll feel like it's 4 in Memphis, 0 in Holly Springs, but single digits all around the area. Then we've got a clear night tomorrow night, and as we get to around 10 o'clock tomorrow night, there may be a little cloud cover. I think Futurecast is picking up on fog. I think we've got freezing fog coming our way for tomorrow night. That creates another set of problems, especially for anybody who may be out on the street. If you don't let your car warm up before you head out, that freezing fog could collect on the windshield and you lose visibility and find yourself in trouble quickly. But then you're going to be stuck out in the cold with temperatures in the single digits that feel like they're anywhere from -1 down in Oxford to -4 in Memphis to -6 around Dyersburg, Brownsville, -9, and below 0 wind chills well into eastern Arkansas. Then as we get to Tuesday morning, 6 o'clock, yeah, there's no escaping the cold. Could have fog. Feels like temperatures -1 to -5, no matter where you are in the mid-south. I wish you could see Lydian's face right now. Yeah, that's what we're looking at, folks. Now, right now, we've got temperatures. It's really the first alert because of the bitter cold. So the snow and ice, they're gone, with the exception of a few flurries, but it's that Arctic cold that's going to keep a grip on the mid-south. Ice will be here for a little while. That's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I anticipate that to be around all week long. So let me give you an idea of the temperatures we're looking at. So again, the extreme cold warning, and look, this map pretty much depicts it very well. This gives you a general idea of what we're expecting. So we are below freezing right now. That white line you see, that's the 32-degree line. That extends all the way into East Tennessee, down into middle, central Alabama, southern Mississippi, and even down around southern Texas. Temperatures at or below freezing there. We're going to still be below freezing over most of the lower 48. The exception, Florida, where it's still going to be below, well below average temperatures there. They could even have the lizards falling out of the trees again. You know, that's happened before. The lizards, or whatever they call them, the iguanas, they get cold and they just go dormant and they fall out of the trees. They don't die, but they go dormant. They're cold-blooded animals anyway, but they just go dormant. And then even back to the southwest, parts of Arizona below freezing. And so this bitter cold impacting everybody. And there may even be a few flurries along the coast of Florida. I could potentially see Gulf effect snow flurries in Tampa. In other words, the cold wind overriding the warmer waters of the Gulf, coming into contact with that colder air in Florida. There could be Gulf effect snow flurries down there Monday night, maybe even again on Tuesday night. But check this out. Speaking of Tuesday, we're still looking at below freezing temperatures for the day Tuesday. Tuesday night gets even colder. Wednesday, that 32-degree line is going to come right up to the Mississippi-Tennessee state line. So a good portion of North Mississippi will get at or below freezing, but I think that freezing line stays south of Memphis and we'll be right around 30, 31 degrees. I think we'll do that again on Thursday. Fortunately, dry conditions. 32-degree line tries to recede a little farther north, but then another shot of cold air comes in next week, and that drops temperatures again, putting us back into the mid-range of the 20s. So look at these temperatures. The average high, 51 degrees. We're only going to hit a high tomorrow of 18 degrees. Not a record breaker, but it's not going to feel good. 28 Tuesday. Fortunately, a dry pattern persists all week long, so we're not looking at anything in the way of significant precipitation other than maybe a few flurries, maybe a little freezing fog tomorrow night into early Tuesday. We'll look for that, but nothing in the way of significant precipitation. But I do want you to get the app, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. I know I say it all the time, but you know, here's the thing about the First Alert Weather app. Never at any time did our app say you're going to get 30 inches of snow. And there were many phone apps that, and I know this because my friends, even some of my colleagues were sending me these screenshots of apps showing excessive amounts of snow. They were just wrong. So we update the forecast on our app. There is a human on the other side of that. But if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to your app store. You can download it now. It's free for Apple and Android products. And in my opinion, it's one of the better apps out there. We just did an update on it. It's really cool because it makes it a little more user-friendly. And the 24-hour feature was having an issue. So that has now been worked out. You've also got a better look at the live radar itself. and just a whole host of other information on there. The other thing, you're going to get updates, video updates from the Action News 5 First Alert Weather Team. No other app from anybody else, I think, in our area has that feature on their app. So get the app, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You're going to need it. These temperatures right now, again, in the mid and upper range of the teens. Feels like it's already in the single digits for most. We ran through the feels like futurecast a moment ago. I want to just quickly go through that again just to show you the potential for, or the likelihood of single digit wind chills extending through the day tomorrow. It'll feel like it's below zero tomorrow night. And so we've got a bitterly cold start to the work week, and that's going to stick around for a little while. So the flurries linger through I need to say through the evening, not through the day, but through the evening. We've got the bitter cold in place for several days to come. As I was talking to Kelly, the melting itself will be minimal at best, absolutely minimal. And I'm looking at icy conditions on the roads, the highways all week long. So get ready for it. Overnight lows tonight. These are actual air temperatures. I think it's going to fall to -1 in Covington, -1 in Ripley tonight. We're looking at a low temperature in Dyersburg of 1 degree, and right around 3 to 5 elsewhere in West Tennessee. North Mississippi, mostly clear sky for you tonight, but look at these lows. About 3 to 5 for most areas, 6 to 8 from Corinth, Ripley, even into Oxford. And that layer of ice, that's just going to keep that cold air in place. The layer of ice that's on the ground everywhere. -1 in Harrisburg, -3 tonight in Blytheville, and right around 1 to 5 elsewhere in eastern Arkansas. We're going to fall to 6 in Memphis, a few flurries this evening. But that north wind at 5 to 15 miles per hour, oh, that's going to hurt overnight tonight. Now, sunshine tomorrow. It's going to be mostly sunny all day. But our high's still well below average, only in the mid to upper teens. We'll be right around 19 to 20, 22 degrees. And a couple of these temperatures may actually be a degree or two too warm. And that's because of the ice on the ground. Then Blytheville, 17. We'll hit 20 in Mariana and Helena, West Helena. The sun's going to certainly be welcome. The bitter cold will not. 7 at 7 in the morning. 7 at 7. That's the air temperature I expect, not the wind chill, the air temperature. We don't often see that around here. 17 by noon, 18 at 3, 16 at 5. We'll fall back to 11 by 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Tomorrow's high, 18. That's it. Mostly sunny, just bitter cold. And then tomorrow night, maybe some of that freezing fog coming into play. Look at these wind chills. -3 at 8 in the morning, -1 at 9. It's going to feel like it's 0 somewhere between 9 and 10, but around 2 by 10. And the highest wind chill tomorrow is 10 at 3 in the afternoon. That's what we are in for. We'll look at the 10-day forecast. First alert weather day, Monday and Tuesday, all right? And again, because of the bitter cold. No precipitation, ample amount of sunshine, but cold. Life-threatening, especially the fact that we're dealing with it for days on end. So I really do have concern for folks in and around the area. That bitter cold, those wind chills, that is something else out there. And travel impacts, they're going to extend all through the week. There will be ice on the road, Lydian, next weekend. Lydian, by the way, she's my director, producer over here. Hey, I see Amani in Clarksdale. She's talking to people. Can we talk to her? It looks like she found some club goers over there, and it'd be some folks who decided to venture out in this stuff. I want to know what in the world brought them out to begin with, where they're going, what they're doing, and why. It is so cold out there. Amani is down in Clarksdale, Coahoma County. They get hit pretty hard, mainly with sleet. Highway 61, it's a mess as a result of the icy road there. The town of Clarksdale just covered in ice, mainly sleet. That was a primary form of precipitation for that area. But Amani has found somebody. I'm watching another camera right now. Don't let them get away.
I'm letting them know we want to see.
Oh, I think they got away. I'm watching them.
Okay.
I'm watching them on another live camera. She was up there for a minute. Anyway, all right. Well, look, here it is. It's coming up on about 7:50. We've been going now for about an hour, a little over an hour. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I need to take some time to find out, and I want to take a deeper dive into the weather and the forecast overall. Joy Redmond is in this weekend. She's been staying at a hotel here in Midtown because it is no good weather for anybody. And the closer you can stay to the station, I've been here for a hot minute. I'm going to try to go home tonight, I think, believe it or not. Hopefully I can get there. But it would be nice to get home. It's nothing like sleeping in your own bed. A couch just doesn't seem to cut it. But we'll be around tonight for Action News 5 at 10. We've got a 1-hour broadcast. We'll be bringing you again an update on conditions in and around the area, how things are playing out in some of the hardest hit areas, and we'll have live reports from our crew, Garner Montgomery down in Oxford, Amani down in Clarksdale, and just a whole host of other information to get you ready for what comes our way tomorrow. Hopefully, most of you do not have to go back to work. I realize many people have no choice, but I want you to be very careful. I want you to allow extra time. Look, if you've got to be at work at 8 and you normally leave at 7:30, you may want to think about heading out right around 6:30. Give yourself an hour of extra time. It could take that long. Keep plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you, and all it takes is one knucklehead going too fast and you put a whole bunch of people in danger. Please don't do that. So use extreme caution. Stay warm. If your kids are going to get out and play in the icy conditions tomorrow, just make sure they are bundled up with layers of clothing. Make sure they've got cover for their heads, ears, gloves, good thick shoes. You're not going to be able to get out there in your tennis shoes and play in this stuff, all right? You need boots, snow boots, and thick socks. So just be prepared for what's coming your way, because it looks like by the end of this coming week, we're going to be pros at dealing with ice and snowy conditions. So that's it for me on the Action News 5 digital desk. Thank you all for joining us. If you've been watching us on Facebook and you've got some questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll try to get to those a little later on this evening and answer any questions you have. Also, a reminder, if you have been watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can also watch us on the Action News 5 app on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Just go to your app store, search Action News 5. You can download it there for free. And for people without power and their homes can't watch their TVs on your mobile device, you can still watch our newscast on your Action News 5 app or First Alert Weather app. So you'll be able to watch us there. And if your Roku device or Amazon Fire or Apple TV connects to your iPad or your tablet or mobile device, then you can watch us there as well. So plenty of ways to get Action News 5. So let us bring the weather and the information to you while you stay at home and just watch it all play out. I'm meteorologist Ron Childers. Lydian Coombs, thank you very much for making me look good tonight and running all this stuff. I still don't know what it does, but I appreciate you being able to line up all those interviews. And to all my Action News 5 colleagues, you've done a great job. We're not finished yet. We'll keep going. We'll be around tonight to bring you the news. We're going to start tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. All right? So if you are up and at 'em early to get ready for heading back to work or getting your day going, we're going to start at 4 a.m. bright and early, half hour early to keep you updated. And again, add at least an hour to your